Hello and welcome to the AEW All Out 2025 preview. I'm Michael Sidgwick, joined by fellow Dudley boy Michael Hamflett to preview AEW's next pay-per-view. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure to subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube for daily wrestling podcasts where we preview and review Raw, SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0, Dynamite, and we're kind of dropping Collision quietly. Pay-per-views, premium live events, we have wrestler interviews on occasion, roundtable discussions, question and answer time, assorted different miscellaneous content, and we have a roundup of the week, not this week, complete with a bloody good quiz of kills on WhatCulture. Hamflett, proud thoughts about All Out.
That's good stuff, Sid.
It's all good stuff.
Right out the gate. We're starting hot, I see.
It is all good stuff.
What are my proud thoughts?
You're quite happy, aren't you?
I am happy with this, yeah. It's got the big tentpole matches are all things I'm really invested in. And you cannot really ask for much more from a pay-per-view. And if anything, sometimes AEW gives you more than you ask for with these.
Who gives you extra?
Hey, he doubled you.
Who gives you extra? Who gives you too much, if anything?
But this is the thing, right? You can't. I have noticed. Here's the thing. I've noticed that people get really salty, really pissed off when people in our privileged position, paid for a living to watch the business from afar, sometimes up close, complain about the length of shows. I don't want to kick this review off because it pisses people off. Right, I've tried to find the happy medium here, because if you are a paying punter and you're dropping down your 50 on Trilski or whatever it is that you buy your AEW show on, you are very entitled, I'm speaking down the lens to you, to want as much as possible for your money, and much can be quantity over quality, and I'm starting to understand that. And Tony Khan, me, a guy that ideally wants 7 air breaks between one match, actually. Like, I'm starting to just accept and understand and almost appreciate that Tony Khan looks to them first and says, right, your money out of your pocket means the most to me, so you get this. So I am going to do my best.
Just train them.
A bit.
Condition them that less is more. You'll be better for it, trust me.
Ain't happening.
Trust me. I know.
So the negative I could have applied to this, I'm not going to. We're going to run down all these matches, right? And just that sentence, as often, I've greeted it with a shudder.
Yes.
But no longer, because the hot stuff is hot stuff. And the rest might one day be hot stuff. We talked about this on the Dynamite review. I recommend you go and watch it. September to remember. I am trying to look at the injury crisis, where's that as an opportunity, a crisis-opportunity of the talent that could potentially be elevated from a show like this. And I think that's what the big card offers.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of other people getting spots when you talk about you got to include them, you got to include them. This is one that's opened itself up to a few new faces. So maybe from this like big load of wrestlers, and it's like, oh, that's getting boring. No. What if in fact it's like they're getting the opportunity and they could make the most of it? That's my proud thoughts.
Okay. My proud thoughts are this card is B-level flavored, and I don't know if that is because of the missing stars, Swerve Strickland, injury layoff, Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega. It does feel, and this is not for the first time this year, I think Dynasty had this kind of feel as well. This looks better than Dynasty, I think. All right, okay, this feels lesser than some of the other big...
All right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. All out.
That's all right. However, I'm looking through this card, and I'm preparing myself to I'm trying to get ahead of that moment that happens almost every single show, even the really good ones where you go, oh, I forgot about that one. I forgot about that match out of the however many. And I'm get to the ones because I'm experiencing that mid-show lull. Here's the thing. There ain't one. This looks like the best possible version of there's not a huge amount of inspiration in the storylines. Yes, there is depleted star power, but if you're going to do this, this is the most sicko-friendly card of the year, I would argue.
Yeah.
The most sicko-friendly AEW big show of the year. And if you're going to take that route, which feels a little bit easy and unimaginative for me, and I like creativity and imagination and ideas in my wrestling above all else. This looks like one of the better ones. I'm looking through this, and we'll go, obviously, match by match. There's not a single one where I'm thinking, can't be arsed with that. Not a single one. I'm sure you can already feel this dragging because Tony Khan's response to the pay-per-view is too long discourse that happens so frequently and is so fiercely contested and debated that there must be something to the opinion that they are too long. It's not just bad faith actors saying it, because there is this intense need to bury AEW in bad faith for financial gain or engagement or whatever. I'm not saying that doesn't exist. I'm saying I personally know enough people in the wrestling space, and I see it enough as a sample on social media. There must be something to this take. And, I don't want to get bogged down in it, but I can feel my feet sinking. It isn't just a British podcasters have to wake up and they're inherently miserable thing. You can hear it in the buildings through the TV screen at that 2.5, 3 hour mark during one match every single time.
We've lived our life watching wrestling this way. It's not that. Our entire life has been spent watching wrestling this way.
And it feels like Tony Khan is digging his heels in. And Hamflett makes an astute point. There are enough people who like it, and they are the ones who matter most. Like, at this point, if you're Tony Khan, you shouldn't book for us, but you also should. Like, if you can retrain your audience that less can be more, that hype should matter over a constant delivery of action, then he can make it mean something again. I do think there is a growing consensus that it feels like, yeah, it's good, it's competent, it's sometimes ridiculously great, but it ain't 2021 anymore. And, 2021 had the advantage of, well, we've got Rampage, but it was only an hour, and we don't have 2-hour collisions, and the pay-per-views are far less frequent. Those are promotional advantages. You don't want to burn your audience out. Having said that, on a strict Mitch by Mitch. Thanks, Jay. Basis. Maybe
match play, Jay. What?
Yeah. We're not going to get it on this occasion, but I can already feel this having no effect. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. AEW All Out 2025. I can already feel it being this very well-received pro wrestling show that's ultimately going to have no long-term bearing on what the characters do or, like the business or a creative spark. I don't know. I feel like we talk around in circles on this, and I'm principally at fault for that. So should we just get into the matches?
Let's do it.
I will say one more thing, actually. I will say one more thing before we get into the match by match, which is at which point my mood will improve, I assure you. If you love long wrestling shows so much and that's how you want to spend your time, okay, rather than complain to me and spend your time doing that, why don't you go and watch Big Egg Wrestling Universe and just leave me alone? I want to know what the limit is, you see. If All In Texas, which got away with itself in the best possible way, wasn't the limit, what is? What is? If you look at the pay-per-view buys, they haven't reached it yet, in all fairness. Match number 1 that we are previewing today is no, I'm in a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Brody Doe versus the Young Bucks versus Jet Speed versus Hechicero and Josh Alexander in a 4-way ladder match for the AEW World Tag Team titles. Now, this is delightfully devilish, Tony, in that you are putting a match on that has a 4-star floor. If this doesn't excite the hell out of you, terrify you, make you just gasp at the sheer violent ingenuity on show, it will have failed, because that's essentially why this match has been booked. If you look at, the more fundamental things like story and character and who should win, if you look at the Young Bucks trajectory, they're in the money. They're in the money. Do. Now might be the time to give them the titles, especially when you look at the potential outcome of another major tag team title match on this card. So there is the potential drama of a title switch. the benefit of doing these matches, even if it is a little bit creatively lazy, in that your World Tag Team title match hasn't been built with this particularly great story, the benefit is that the sequences are exchanged at such a rapid, lung-bursting pace, and the violence will overwhelm you to such an extent that in those incredible moments, it'll feel like it's anyone's to win.
Yeah.
So they, again, getting away with stuff, if you like. What else can you say about this match? It's the Young Bucks. It's got everything. It's a ladder match. The idea of, I'm going to go wrestler by wrestler and try and think of something cool they can do. But I reckon the Young Bucks are winning it. They've got the money back.
Yeah.
I think Brodido aren't long for this world in terms of like being the champions. It feels like you got really over. Brody King's been doing incredible work and really selfless, putting himself forward to do jobs, that just gratefully accepting jobs, getting so over. I don't want to patronize him. An element of a thank you, Rain.
A little bit, yeah.
But also they got over massively on their own terms.
Not before time he got a thank you, Rain.
Exactly. But Brody King can do that. Put the ladder over his head and neck and just kill people with it. He can do that. Like, the idea, I reckon they might do a spot here where Bandido will pick up a ladder with someone on it already is his big, because these matches tend to unfold in this wrestler gets a big spotlight moment. It is the best possible version of a get your in match. And that's usually how these things go before the breakdown and all the rest of it. Bandido lifting a ladder up with someone draped on top of it. One of the Young Bucks, because they like stooging and showing ass, and then just dumping it onto the congregated field on the outside. Like a really great display of Bandido's strength. The Young Bucks have got absolutely seminal ladder match form. I almost wouldn't want to pitch something on their behalf because who am I, you know? Yeah. But the first Escalera de la Muerte with the Lucha Bros was one of the best matches in AEW's early history. Even though the crowd would been killed by Danielson and Ospreay for the first half of it, the second half of that Dynasty match last year was out of this world, violent, unhinged. So they're going to operate brilliantly. I mean, do you ever watch that PWG 3 Mendes 2012 match in the end?
Yes.
Oh, like, it's insane.
Chaos.
It's insanity.
Yeah.
It's one of the best matches I've ever seen. The Young Bucks know what they're doing with a goddamn ladder. I mean, they know what they're doing at the best times anyway. I want to see Kevin Knight springboard off the ropes and hit the penultimate rung. Actually, the last rung before like the fold at the top.
Yeah.
Just like, and then like almost wobble and get himself. I want to like have palpitations. And I think he's got the incredible vertical leap with which to accomplish that spot and kind of make it his own. That's how gifted he is as an athlete. I've got no idea at all what Hechicero is going to do with a ladder, but I know when I want to look at it.
Yep.
And Josh Alexander, I think it's up to him to just do some insanely reckless bumps. He likes doing that.
Yeah.
He should treat himself.
Well, because he can do both in this, can't he? Because he can do that, but he's also quite good at playing spoiler in general, and that might be more in line with him as a heel. Yeah. Especially like the guy that's getting in the way of stuff happening, and then something really bad happens to him as like a payoff to that. Like just a guy like ruining everyone's expected fun, and then, oh my God, he's just gone through 12 tables because he's been tipped off or something.
Do the Young Bucks, Nick Jackson specifically, get that big fat wad of cash and present it to someone, an opponent, as they're climbing the ladder?
I love that.
And then as they're sort of going, it's a lot of money, Matt Jackson super kicks it off them.
Yeah. Oh, we need this cash.
It
sort of flies everywhere, and he's trying to Nick's in the meantime scurrying up. I thought of a spot based on Bandido's strength. You know how it would always be, and it's appropriate actually considering who else is on this card, but the most memorable, I would say, is probably the big Reno when he's got Christian on his shoulders. Let's say a knackered and exhausted Brody King is climbing the ladder, and he's climbing up against, let's say, a Matt Jackson. And then Nick's like, I know what we can do. And Nick comes from underneath Matt, and he's like, got Matt on his shoulders, and he's helping Matt up the ladder, and like Brody King's knackered and all that. And then Bandido comes underneath Brody, and he is so strong Like that they flip what you expect, and he sort of at the deceptive strength of Bandito, he's the one lifting Brody King, and like Nick's like, oh Jesus Christ, he's on his shoulders. But then it was two of them. But then someone like a Josh Alexander tips the fouler of them off in this like great crescendo moment, just tips all four off.
Will you see any tables, do we think? I'm being facetious because
No.
the answer is yes, but they are doing a tables match.
So I'm not much of a takesman typically, but I think I've got a bit of a hot take here. Is there a ladder match from AEW this year that you can think of that was like really strong? It's okay if there's not, because it sort of
I can't think of a...
Because I couldn't, right? And because I couldn't. But I was thinking about...
have they shown discipline here?
Well, right, not just... Is the ladder match back? Out of absolutely nowhere, right? Because I couldn't think of an AEW one this year. And there might be one that I'm forgetting. A glaring omission. I apologise. But even so, if we can't think of even one, that kind of illustrates the point.
Yeah.
The critically acclaimed SmackDown one and the SummerSlam TLC one were both kind of awesome.
They were awesome.
And I can't think of another AEW one this year. Has it made the most unlikely of returns when we were all, as a community, sick of the sight of them? Like, I think...
Potentially.
There's actual anticipation for the bollocks for the first time. I think the ladder match might have made an unexpected return as an actual thing to book.
It was a booking crutch for so goddamn long, to the point where how do you learn how to not give a toss about falling off a 20-foot ladder? I mean, I did it. I managed it. I managed it. I think a lot of people did as well.
We were deadened to it. And I think it might be back.
Has there been one in AEW this? There must have been.
There must have been, wasn't there?
Well, either way, I'm very excited about this. I want to feel exhilarated, terrified, and I feel like this could be legitimately unhinged. I will say they do better with this in tag team matches, but to be fair, this is my hot take. WWE kind of does them better. I will say under Levesque, maybe not no more. Like those like dying days Vince creative. Like, for whatever reason, I thought the ladder matches were like these all-action, really well-done affairs, whereas Levesque likes to do his cinema and melodrama a lot. So
the sequencing of the bumps at SummerSlam was outstanding.
It was.
The bang, bang, bang thing leading to the Candice LeRae one as the finale.
Yeah. No, that was
with
superb.
the comedy attached, I suppose.
Yeah, I was just thinking about the Money in the Banks, actually.
Yeah,
I will concede that point. But here, it's there for the taking.
Yeah.
It's for whatever, to what extent it could be a promotional advantage. I do think it's there for the taking.
The Bucks do 5-star ladder stuff in their sleep. It's remarkable how good they are on like autopilot Young Bucks creating stuff in these matches that it just sticks forever.
I love as well how they, because it's sort of like not something you see every day, they will strategize in the middle of the match. Like they'll do deliberate spot calling as if like, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
Otherwise it can look a little bit like, oh, we'll do this because we're doing that next. I like how they always do that, and I expect them to follow suit on Saturday. The
most recent spot they've added, I love it so much. The like flipping one.
Yeah.
Like but the Tiger Mom like lands on a ladder.
Oh, nice.
Like a laid out ladder.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
For example.
Yeah. Match number 2 is Big Bill versus the returning Eddie Kingston. Tremendous to see him back. It's not just Eddie Kingston as a professional wrestler, as a human being. This couldn't have been easy for him at all. But this guy is a promoter's gift. This is the guy who, and it's kind of odd how they framed this comeback and maybe a little bit discouraging, to be fair. But there is plenty of time. If you don't know what promo class is, I don't want to patronize you, but you might not. It was this thing that I first became aware of them doing it like Dusty Rhodes in NXT and developmental and the like, where the idea would be cut a promo on that Apple now. The idea being it's sort of like a bit of a exercise in just checking the ego out the door. A lot of people are going to fail to do it to an Apple. It's kind of like hazing as well. But the idea being, if you're actually a talented enough promo to be able to do something with an Apple and make people like hypnotized and all the rest of it, selling a blood feud will be very simple for you. They did a bit, I don't know if you remember on Being the Elite, where they had Eddie Kingston do this, and it was great.
Yeah.
Did it on like some cookies or whatever, and he went like really introspective about his like issues.
Relationship with food.
Yeah. So I want to see Eddie Kingston.
There's a broadcaster version of that, isn't there, where like Eric Bischoff does a pretty terrible job with a broom and Renee Young does a brilliant job with a pen.
Yeah.
It's just like, Oh, who's a better broadcaster?
Indeed. So I do want to see Eddie Kingston cut a promo. Sure, like it's one of those where he's so good at it that for a long time people actually underrated his ring work. This is not how I would have done it at all. I like the matchmaking. I don't like the storytelling, and there is a distinct difference between those two things. There is time, but come on, it's Eddie.
Yeah.
Have him cut a goddamn promo. And one of the reasons, if it was just, for this one thing, I'd have been disappointed, but not alarmed. But as we've discussed at length on these pods, Eddie Kingston's persona towards the end of that AEW run before the injury layoff was, can't be asked to cut promos. I think it's nonsense. I'm just going to go out there and fight. It's Eddie Kingston. How have we arrived at this? So I don't know if it's a continuation of that, but I do like the matchmaking a lot. I would potentially entertain the idea of Eddie Kingston losing. People got bored of the All Japan Pro Wrestling Fantasy Camp that he seemed to attend while working for AEW. That's not I read that. I can't remember who tweeted it. I just thought it was magic. All Japan Fantasy Camp.
It's really good.
It's a great way of capturing Christ. He feels like he's a kid who's enthralled with these guys rather than their spiritual successor, So I don't want him to, dress up in like the Misawa colors again. Or be that version of Eddie Kingston again. But you can take influence from the way that Puro tells its stories. And one such thing is, they're back, but they're not match fit yet. Mm-hmm. They are back, but they're not match fit. Or they're the next big hot stud coming out of the dojo, but they ain't winning yet. They can impress, but they ain't winning yet. Like an example would be Jay White.
Yeah.
Against Tanahashi at the Dome. Mm-hmm. It was like it felt destined for him to win that. And it's like, no, not yet. What if Eddie Kingston loses? And then you go, oh, because what you do if you do that, I think the match will be good. I think Big Bill has been intentionally selected as Kingston's opponent because when he goes after that leg, and Eddie Kingston will sell it phenomenally, and he will remind you of a dimension of ring work that is sorely lacking. I hate the way that this promotion sometimes makes me sound like Rip friggin' Rogers, but I'm not lying at the same time. I think when Eddie Kingston comes back, he will remind you something's missing, and he's the guy who can give you it. And Big Bill will be incredible because he's one of the best mid-match taunt guys ever. Like, he does what Logan Paul does and calls psychology and crowd control, but he does better.
Yeah.
Like, Big Bill's legitimately hilarious with it. So I'm going to have fun with this match. He's going to be hobbling around, and he's going to do a great job. But I would say that there's an argument to be made that if Eddie Kingston loses, you heat up Big Bill, whose career has been handled terribly over this past year. Mm-hmm. Like a poor reflection on Tony Khan, considering how much people are like audibly into Big Bill.
Yeah, they've asked for Big Bill, haven't they?
And they've been denied. Yeah. They have been denied. So you can reheat Big Bill, and you can send Eddie Kingston on the story arc that he excels within, of the Nelly man, of the not, he can't lose again. And then he builds to that eventual feel-good triumph, and he's the best at making you believe in him every step of the way. I think there's a good, like, purpose-serving idea behind Eddie Kingston losing here.
Yeah,
and he's got an out as well. Or maybe maybe he's finished.
I like the booking. I'll like. There's I'm speaking here about a bubble within a bubble within a bubble, but then you're watching this podcast or you listen to this podcast, so you're part of all of those bubbles.
It's your fault.
It's bubbles all the way down. The ball knowers.
Forever blowing babble.
That's two from the blind dates. Let's get in the office now. The ball knowers love Eddie Kingston, and a lot of them have been looking at Tony Khan and saying, I'm very angry with you, mate. Like, I think they're going to owe him an apology after this. I've just got, by the way, I have this portion of my wrestling fandom that is rooted in eternal optimism, get your heart broken, start again. So I fully accept that I could just be miles off base on this one. Like, I just have a feeling that people are not...
It's good that you admit that WWE broke your brain.
Yeah. Like, I just think that maybe this is one of those occasions, and there's been plenty in the past, so it's not like he hasn't got the CV for it, where by design, you don't see whatever the vision is yet for Eddie Kingston. And you've just illustrated one way in which it could go. And the idea that, yes, he's accepted it online feels really off-kilter for one of the best promos in the game. Yes, the challenge is very much, I love Big Bill, but a lot of people going, him, whatever. As if somehow the dream Eddie Kingston return was an immediate main event against John Moxley, for example.
Yeah.
That feels like the contrasted opinion or whatever. I don't know. I've just got a hunch.
This is going to be classy now.
So much more to this than meets the eye, that the match will deliver way more than people believe it will, that even if it's Route 1 and it's Eddie Kingston making a glorious return against a beatable opponent like Big Bill, I have a lot of faith in the match quality. And that's like bare minimum. But I just sense there's more. I've got a feeling it could be a defeat by King, like the Big Bill wins and suddenly gets this huge thing to talk about while Eddie Kingston has to go back and reflect, and it's something that nobody saw coming. Or it's Eddie Kingston is back, and he's not just back, he's back and he's kicking your ass way more than you thought, and the Death Riders need to be worried. Or there's a post-match promo, these elusive words that we are desperate to hear from Eddie Kingston rather than text on a screen or a picture online of him watching some All Japan or whatever. I just think there's more to it. I've got a lot of faith in the Eddie Kingston project, even though I can't yet analyse what that is.
So
I think he'll win, but I do, and I like I say, there's a diagonal hurricane coming Big Bill's way to address the hype, whatever. I think he'll win, but I've just got a lot of faith
in the follow-up.
Yeah, in this return. I think this is the return of a massive star within the context of AEW. I'm not talking about him like a draw or something, but, like somebody that the AEW core, this to me is like, oh God, you've lost Swerve, Kenny, Ospreay, but you're bringing back Eddie Kingston. For different reasons, I think the levels are the same. Somebody that you could bring in that could be considered very quickly world title level within the canon and the lore of AEW. And this is the start of that. I really do. I don't sense any of this naysaying and doomsdaying just because the build. I almost think it's a red herring. I almost think the build is so, like, Big Bill's cutting promos and Eddie Kingston's not even on TV. Like, I almost think that's hiding something. I do not believe that you have Eddie Kingston on the shelf for this long and Tony kind of sat there at home sometimes and thought, I wonder what I'm going to do when he comes back and I want to sit with Eddie Kingston. Like, it's a project. I imagine they'll have talked to Eddie Kingston. There's this idea.
You'd hope so.
But people, the way that people talk about this is as if, like, poor old Eddie Kingston had nothing to do with it. He was rang up and he was told, right, you're coming back, you're fighting Big Bill, can you post about it on Instagram? That's bollocks. I believe this to be a collaborative project and the start of something rather than people from afar just going like, I'm giving a guy that can talk 5 minutes with a promo. He's not that thick. He's a booker and a promoter. Like, there are plenty of things that, there are storylines where you drop the ball there, Tony. I don't think this is one of them. I really don't.
It doesn't feel like a big project to me. It was sort of dropped in on Collision, which is a big tell. That first Big Bill challenge was laid down on Collision and not Dynamite, which is a big tell. And the thing about
didn't some of Tony Khan's didn't some of his best ever ideas initially start looking like they were nothing? Like Anna Jay leaves into Abaddon looked like it was nothing. Like, yeah, I'm saying, like, some of the greatest stuff we've ever seen in AEW came from looking like it was just this throwaway thing, and then, like, 6 months down the line, you're like, how inspired was that they did it that way? And,
yeah, I just think that because it was just dropped on Collision, and it hasn't really been built up on TV, or, I mean, I suppose if you do think there's some kind of thing that you can't pinpoint what it might be.
Even a bit of expectation management, He's been gone a long time, and
yeah, maybe it's just a case for me, Eddie Kingston, to the extent that he can check out. He seemed a little bit checked out. Yeah. Like, he can't not get in that ring in front of those people, his people, and be Eddie Kingston. He can't not. But those promos, that weird character, I don't know, man. It feels like he's coming back because he can, and he's grafted to do it. I think it's like, we'll do this, and then we'll wait and see. And I think he's going to work Brian Keith on Collision the week after.
That'd be sad. That would be a sad.
Let us know in the comments if you think there's something more to this, if you're disappointed. I can't get a read on this. I really can't get a read on this at all, and it doesn't help that AEW being where it is right now. The audience is broadly quite happy with it, whatever. It's not like a big talking points. So I don't really know what the temperature is. So if you let us know, I would actually want to read those comments. Match 3 of 10. We've gone long already. Is Kazuchika Okada versus Konosuke Takeshita versus Mascara Dorada for the AEW Unified title. A 3-way match, of course. There's 3 wrestlers in it. Now, if you listen to the Dynamite review, I'll try not to speak too for such a long time about this, and it'll get me into trouble with certain fans. I said this is not unlike that time they put Karrion Kross with the 4 best technical wrestlers in NXT so that they could have a 4-star match, and Karrion Kross was in it. It's not because...
He's fantasy booking TikTok, bitch.
Yeah,
It's
not because Kazuchika Okada can't wrestle, a bit like Karrion Kross, but because he won't wrestle. And I know he has to eventually in a one-on-one. I know he steps up most of the time during those bigger matches. It just is weird that the greatest living wrestler, who I've described before as the oldest 30-something in wrestling because of the grind and the specific type of matches that he's worked at that age, that they've put a guy in there to create movement for him. Like he's Sting. Do you know what I mean? This guy's in his 30s. You know, it's this guy's in his 30s.
Yeah.
He is the big match, one-on-one, epic dream match, Doyen. And now they're putting a guy in there. They're going to do Okada Takeshita at some point, and he will put on you'd think that Kazuchika Okada is in his "I'm as good once as I ever was" phase, where he can't do that every single night, and he won't do that every single night. So to save those nights, of which there are still some, it seems like they're putting Dorada in there to create the movement for him, like he is Sting. I will say, Okada, if I'm going through my mental index of my favorite matches of the year, considering how many pay-per-views there are now, like, you should be having more than one, really. And Okada's had one. The Bayley match was awesome, absolutely awesome. But come on, man. If he's not even getting that much of a push, really. He's the ultimate luxury signing. He's Ibrahimovic for Man U. He'll pop up with a winner in a League Cup. Sorry. Very brief soccer tangent. He's just a luxury aging player you can put on your bench and come on and do a cameo, and it's amazing. But you're not needed. This person doesn't really have the motivation to be the best in the world anymore. But if Newcastle United signed, an aging player who's just really elegant and great.
Like Ian Rush or John Barnes?
No, they were too old.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? They look kind of like Ian Rush looked like he was 50 when he was 24, one of those old guys, like the Arn Anderson of professional football.
So spot on.
Yeah. But I would say, go on then. You get sort of taken over by the glamour and the idea, naive as it may be, of, oh God, we've got this player.
I was fuming when he signed Les Ferdinand.
Because he was 30, wasn't he?
But he was such a classy baller.
Yeah.
Like, oh, nah.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah.
What do I do?
He's bought Newcastle.
No, never. Couldn't do that.
But so that's where he is. That's where we are. That's where everyone's accepted that we're going to be going forward. This match will kick ass because even if Okada won't wrestle, Takeshita will. Dorada will. Dorada will take this opportunity on AEW pay-per-view to go absolutely wild when that will be his designated role. Right. Okada won't wrestle, so will you twice over? Yes, I'm getting ready for my maybe I've got one eye on my big US contract year or whatever. And he works bigger crowds than this than for AEW does this year, but it's a different thing, isn't it? I had an idea for a spot for this. Okada, when it's his turn to wrestle, I won't wrestle. You have to, Kazu. You have to now. He looks like he's going to win. Takeshita is selling, as often happens in these 3-way matches. It's his turn to be out of the match. I do think AEW has this far greater record with 3-ways than modern WWE in that, because it's so action heavy. they will be encouraged to do three-way sequences. And it's not just one person taking their turn to sell. So there will be loads of that in here. I believe that. If you recall, it went too long, but the best of Omega Speedball Ricochet was incredible for that. So Kazu, it's time for you to wrestle, is going to get Dorada, who's been pummeled by these giant world-class wrestlers for probably about 15 minutes at this point. Okada grabs him by the wrist, right? It's Rainmaker time, bitch. Yank, lunge, Dorada ducks, right? As Dorada ducks, he does the cartwheel springboard into the ropes. Yep. Meanwhile, while he's mid-flight, Takeshita is at the jumping knee in Okada's face.
Oh, yeah.
Okada bumps backwards at the exact same time as Dorada hits some crazy handspring maneuver onto Takeshita the second that he has peeled Okada's face off his knee pad.
Very nice.
I like that.
Very nice. I'd not thought of any single spots in this one.
Because you don't care.
I don't care. I
think this match will be tits.
I feel I am not. This is not just me coming at this from the local medical facility. I genuinely believe that's right. I genuinely believe that they do need to do looking at each other's story in this one. That's what it exists for, right? Like the Takeshita and Okada singles match being preserved, make them they're basically the Roman Reigns and CM Punk here.
I think this match is going to rule,
I think it could rule, right? But ultimately, the purpose it's there to serve is the continuing babyface turn of Takeshita from within the Don Callis family. The fact that you are dealing with the G1 winner and somebody that has every reason to say, well, I'm Okada now, bitch. Like, actually face-to-face with Okada. Whilst one of the little quiet themes of the night is, everything all right in the Don Callis family? Because they can't help Fletcher in the world title picture. So it's more about what's going on here. Like, that's where I think this match is going to, sing, personally. What you've just described is as one of several amazing sequences that the three of these could, and will, by the way, pull off. But it's I'm not just being a, story cinema, etc. dickhead here. This is a personal issues draw money thing, and there is one brewing. So don't wrestle in front of that. They won't. Actually draw the money with the personal issue, which is the need and the potential thrill of what we've almost got here, but not quite. I really want that. They did it in the multi-man tag at the ECW arena in the first week, and it was scintillating. The moment at which it was there was that, the machismo was building up between the two of them. I'm better. I'm not. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And it's one of the many things when I'm saying that AEW has got quite a lot of stuff that isn't exactly boiling hot, but it's really interesting. I think Okada and Takeshita is one of those.
Yeah.
It's not boiling hot, but you really can't take your eyes off it when the two of them
when it actually happens.
Yeah. And I think there's loads of opportunities there.
There is. They could tell a story where they sort of have a pissing contest. Who can demolish Dorada's little ass quicker than the other?
Even Okada saying
better than the other.
You go. Playing the laziness thing in there.
There's loads they can do. Then obviously Dorada kicks both their asses in the final third, and there's loads of directions they could take. Feels like one of those where, and Okada, if you don't know anything about the origins of his career and all the rest of it, he can work Mexican wrestlers to a great standard, or luchadors, if you like.
Work every style.
It's one of those Tony Khan Mad Scientist match graphics that people might remember for a long time and think, that's why you booked that, you son of a bitch. So I am really looking forward to it. This next match, I think, is the least predictable on the show. It's going to generate, well, they hope it's going to generate much of the conversation. And I can't call it yet, but I think that's a combination of Jon Moxley, who was wrestling, of course, Darby Allin in a coffin match, the low-key political operator that he is, combined with how well he's being protected in AEW for 6 years at this point, and that's a massive compliment. 6 years is longer than many eras in WWE, and you could argue he's doing some of the work that he could put up there with his finest. I don't know who wins. I'm really interested in how much the crowd comes up for this, because it's almost a world champion Darby Allin audition. If it's just, they like it, but they don't love it and what have you, I think this could, for Darby Allin's sake, this could really do a feeling massive and enormous and like something people have waited almost a full year to watch. I really hope it gets that reaction, because they've done a really good job with it in terms of the build from day one. It helps that Darby was written out before the Death Riders started to go into full stench territory. This is going to be vile, even before any weapons are introduced, because Darby Allin, at the best of times, willingly gives his body to his opponents, and he puts himself on a platter with an apple in his mouth when it's like Jon Moxley in there. They just have this chemistry. They wrestled on the indies, didn't they, before AEW was even formally launched, or just after.
Moxley loves him, doesn't he?
Yeah, Moxley loves them, so they're going to work really hard for each other. Even in the context of a straight singles match, they have this really wince-inducing, like almost repulsive physical chemistry. They are going to, rightly or wrongly, believe that they have to outdo what they did with that spot at Forbidden Door.
Yep.
Can you think of something disgusting they can do? And who do you have? Because I can see it going either way. One more thing. The rhythms of the Death Riders would indicate to me that it ain't time for Moxley to do another job yet. Otherwise, how's he got such sway over Daniel Garcia?
So this is weird, right? I agree with you in principle, but his response, he's been really good as well, so I'm not even really complaining. But his response to losing to Hangman Page twice was to Bob Holly himself all the time. Like, he's on TV beating everybody all the time. Think about like the collisions and dynamites that we've, and I've loved the work, by the way.
It all adds up though.
But think of like the Jon Moxley of 2-3 months ago. I was like, oh, you again. But it wasn't necessarily always in matches. It was just like Death Riders omnipresence. Of late, it's just Jon Moxley matches. And he's winning them all, with the exception of the 2 losses to Hangman Page. And the idea is, and I remember you used to say this about Cody, you kind of do have to get those wins in.
You do.
Because the losses then otherwise don't really register. So that makes me think that all of these wins have been in service of the defeat here. Now, he could take a pin, but, coffin matches, and like that's become...
You can sell a death scene as well.
Yeah. Coffin match, it's the word, isn't it? Coffin. Like, Darby Allin has taken that from The Undertaker, and it's to mean something different, and that's fine. And it sells violence. We've seen, like, Darby Allin coffin matches, and they're brutal and they're grisly, and that's fine. It's a Street Fighter and No Holds Barred version set to Darby Allin's tone, more than it is like Undertaker bollocks or whatever. So that's fine. The spot I actually thought of wasn't centered around violence. Darby Allin has been talking about how he no longer fears Jon Moxley, he no longer fears the Death Riders, because what's that compared to Everest? It's the perfect use of Everest for the first time, and I sense we're going to get more of that as we go along. However, within a wrestling context, though he doesn't fear it, what he's missed out on is just how real the numbers game is, and how real Jon Moxley, what Darby Allin probably thinks of Jon Moxley, is ignoring the fact that he will actually be like a low-down cheating bastard that will allow his forces to come and attack. Like, they've chased Darby Allin out of buildings, and he's not like, they've not really got the measure of him yet. What if the Death Riders are just there and they do beat him down, and Darby Allin's fought, but now the numbers game overwhelms him, and they go to roll him in the coffin, and the coffin opens up, and for the last time in the paint, Sting's inside the coffin. The one character that can do that kind of smoke and mirrors bollocks, and it's Sting, and he offsets the numbers game. Darby Allin name-checked him on Dynamite this week, and like, what if Bryan Danielson's secret is, we got Stinger? Yeah. All that kind of, like, there's a way to give him his last night in the paint, and it's to...
But didn't Darby say he didn't want any help?
But he hasn't asked for magic out the coffin, Sting. Do you know what I mean? True. He hasn't asked for that. He hasn't got him lined up. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like Sting hearing it from afar and doing the superhero thing that one last time. Yeah. Didn't do it for Hangman Page, did he? No. People thought that was going to be Stadium Sting out. There's this like one, he's taking the paint off this year. We're Sting.
Yeah, we're Sting.
We're Sting before it becomes Steve. Like, we've only got however many months left of it. Could be here.
Could be here. If I had to put a bet on, I would say Moxley, but I would say that's as much an indication of how well he's protected and how seriously, as a result, I can take the character. I don't know. It's weird. This has been going on for ages, but I just can't see it ending.
Yeah.
Moxley is stressed. It's nowhere near finished. I don't know who they feud with next and for what purpose. I'd like to see it end. I'd like Darby to just win and that's it, and Darby can do something else and the Death Riders can sort of regroup. And
Yuta helped Moxley win on Dynamite and Garcia didn't. And could Moxley's, if we're being good faith on all of this, Moxley losing to Darby Allin here kind of ends him as this final boss for wrestlers to face. And instead, in his attempt to get people over with this act, the next chapter starts. And it's like, Yuta, like we as fans are looking going, like Yuta's sort of become actually quite useful and helpful as opposed to being a little dickhead. And Garcia's taken that little dickhead role. And is it to heat that? Like they had this like quite legendary Indies feudy that never fully made it with that JAS BCC version.
Yeah.
Could that be now? Like Yuta has actually helped. I have serious concerns that this isn't going to be the star-making vehicle that people think it is for Garcia. However, there is a star-making feud potentially.
Mox really helped bring Marina along.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a case of he needs to spend more time on screen with Moxley. This is quite unpredictable for me. It genuinely is. And I'm really looking forward to it. And they're going to do something repugnant. Yeah. And I welcome it. I welcome that. If there is, in fact, one match where I'm like, I forgot about this. It's the following match, and that is for the TBS title, champion Mercedes Monet.
Monet.
Defending against Riho. Now, I've seen Riho matches that were, but the best Riho matches involve her making this spirited, impossible feeling comeback against someone who's got a much bigger physical frame or glowing star power, and most people do have the bigger frame than Riho. All of which is to say that Mercedes Money is going to win. It feels like, this is like, All Out's kind of like the sicko card compared to All In, which is, it's mainly for the casuals. That Riho very much meets that brief of, if you love AEW, you're going to love All Out.
Yeah.
If you like AEW, you're going to love All In, if that makes any sense whatsoever. This is one for the sickos, and Riho is, a day oneer. People love her, or those people love her. I love Riho as well. Her gift is an uncanny ability to get a crowd to believe in her, whether she's been really pushed or whether she's been around or whether people are even familiar with her game, which they weren't necessarily ahead of, the first batch of AEW shows. She, in that respect, is like almost a perfect professional wrestler, the ideal professional wrestler. Execution-wise, when it looks bad, it looks bad. It looks bad when it looks bad. If this looks good, and I would open with this, but I've said for years at this point, AEW should open one of its goddamn pay-per-views with a women's match. They've done it a couple of times with Mercedes.
Murray told me this morning it's out there that it's going to be Copeland Christian and FTR.
Cool. So
I don't know. I haven't fact-checked that myself yet, but literally before we came into record, he said that's what's opening.
I wouldn't open with a 45-minute wrestling match, but that's just me. I'm different. I'm built different. Yeah. It's built different.
A brain full of cope going 45.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
Just on that.
I don't have much to say other than I've got my fingers crossed because I like Riho. The best version of this match is a really cool, oh my God, it's happening. Oh, no, it didn't, but they got me.
Do you know what would be quite funny? You know how Robin Renegade helped Mercedes Monet do the sneak attack on Riho after the match on Dynamite? And then there was whispers that the Renegades could be joining Monet as sort of heaters, as maybe a stable around Mercedes Monet. She's got all these belts to protect all of a sudden.
They can carry the belt.
It's quite funny.
They can do the old Triple H.
Yes. It's quite funny if you form that stable at Riho's expense of all people. One of the few people in all of wrestling Mercedes Monet has got a size advantage.
Yeah.
And now we're like, I need
help
two of the wrestlers actually, please. Can you come in and sort it out? It's not a bad bit, that, is it? This will get what it deserves on the night. And what I mean by that is that the story hasn't been great. The booking's been quite lazy.
Mercedes it's just Monet, like, remember Perry's Riho, really?
Yeah, Mercedes Monet on commentary didn't exactly sell Riho as a massive threat. And that goes against the fundamentals. But in the match, Mercedes Monet is Mercedes Monet. She will know when and where to show ass for Riho's offense, and if Riho delivers it well, and again, you have those nights where sometimes she's Riho and it can be quite bland. Anything?
Yeah, we established, though, that anything is always something.
Yes, anything is always something. So that was something. If it's not one of those nights,
something.
If it's not one of those nights and it's not bland, and it is in fact, she going to do this, as she sometimes gets, like they'll get one hot near fall out of it. But I think this is about the little formation of the stable and just Mercedes Monet, just like almost like stooge heel. I've got 9 belts and I don't deserve any of them. That kind of like have that kind of night, bully stuff, and it's a way to like launch a little group, and that's what comes after it.
I think I do wonder if the Riho nostalgia is a little bit overambitious at this point. Like you've got what have you done from lately? What's Riho really done lately?
Oh, the fact that this is a match is kind of wild.
It is kind
of
wild.
The health of the division at the moment, and it's Riho that comes in from the crowd out of nowhere to get the shot. It's not her fault, but it is odd. You've got like 20 people in that tailgate women's match, and all of them have reached a level where it's like you drop any of them in and it's a bigger match.
Aye. I hope the best for her, but if this goes flat in the building, I wouldn't say it's any kind of like sad scenario. I think you've almost invited it.
Yeah.
You should have more to build Riho up. Other than have Excalibur mentioned that she held the title once 6 years ago. The next match, well,
that's fine.
It's all good stuff. The next match, MJF versus Briscoe. Tables tax. I'm very excited about this. I do think that if they'd have told me, if I'd traveled back in time and told myself or whatever, that, all right, this MJF Briscoe stuff that's brewing, it's going to culminate at All Out in a big stepped up match, I would have thought of dog collar, and I would have thought you're going to hear a promo for the ages to build it up just before the pay-per-view, and it's going to feel massive. I think this is cooled. Off. Schedules haven't helped. I think some of the wackier angles when this was orbiting the MJF Hangman Page feud haven't helped. I think that the very best material from this feud has been awesome, but it was all at the start or in the middle. It's just we've arrived at this a little bit in a weird way. However, as much as I think I could have been a bit more excited, I think this could have been the sort of like proper emotionally resonant thing to look forward to on the show. Schedules, a program that might have peaked already, whatever it is, I think it has cooled. However, I have no doubts whatsoever that they're going to deliver on the night. 1, they've got this great dynamic. 2, they've already had this great TV match. 3, it is almost the perfect babyface versus heel contrast, even if it hasn't always felt like that in the building. It should be absolutely amazing. And on that, Canada, I'm counting on you. I should have mentioned this at the start. You were great in London, Ontario on Wednesday.
Our neighbours to the north are proper. Canadians are proper.
They're proper. I feel like they were a lot more earnest than recent US and European crowds have been. Bring that same energy. I'm begging you to All Out, because I want to feel like you are earnestly engaged, not just trying to suck your own cock. Okay? That's all I want. If you want to do that, take your rib out when you get home. Okay? None of my business. Do what you like. Okay? When you're at a pro wrestling show, you don't have fun. You earnestly engage with the action. And
Sorry, TNA once said that to the people in Universe Studios before they record Impact. You're part of the cast. You're part of the product, making it good.
Am I watching what hopefully isn't a 4.5 hour to 5 hour wrestling show? Keep that 4 window for as long enough as it is. Am I watching a 4.5 hour professional wrestling show to see Jim Smith start I don't know, what kind of chant could we get tonight?
Kick him in the nuts. Kick him in the nuts. Over and over again.
Or some kind of like, all right, okay, like, so for this match, like, we want thumbtacks. I mean, that's fine.
But is it?
No, because
should you be asking for them in a match where it's stipulated that you're going to get them?
Yeah.
Like the
you know, just be good. Be good. So for those for our it's descended into another mad rant. I was talking about why specifically I'm excited about this match, and I mentioned, the obvious things like MJF great heel, Mark Briscoe great babyface. They've got abundant chemistry. They're both amazing at conducting a crowd. Stupid. Right there.
I don't even know what you're saying up. That's why I'm laughing.
I'll get there. Don't worry. More minutes, more watch time.
That's true. He's right.
Stupid question hour. Can you remember MJF versus CM Punk in a dog collar match?
Oh, yeah, I've got some pretty happy memories of that one.
One of my favorite moments in that match was so goddamn clever, right? That it sort of, when something is just done so well, you think, why haven't I been doing that the whole time? MJF cowering, doing everything possible to avoid those tacks. I know that's kind of how it goes usually, but he did a specifically great job. He treated taking that bump into the tacks as like a bomb in an explosion match.
Fatal. It was like shark-infested waters.
Like the absolute last thing. Not sort of, oh, this happens. I don't want to do it. Oh, God, please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. It was like, oh my God, it's a bomb. It's a bomb. Yeah, it's a bomb. It's a bomb. It's a bomb. He treated those goddamn tacks in that match the way they're meant to be treated. And he's going to do that again. Mm-hmm. And if you recall the original TV match with Mark Briscoe, hence why the stipulation is the one they've decided upon, is he did such a great job of that delayed gratification of, they're going to put MJF the dickhead through a table. No. Yeah. That's going to be the main thread of this match. They are going to build this thing in such a good way. By the way, you must do this before Darby Mox.
Yeah.
The only way this can fail is through the sequencing of the pay-per-view.
Could this not have a bit more fun with the tone?
But either way, it should go on before.
Yeah.
It should go on before. Like, yeah. You want the difference between this match and Mox Darby is, I can't wait for MJF to take that bump through the thumbtack table.
Yeah.
Versus, I really am getting scared on Darby's behalf. I really hope he doesn't get, I don't know, knifed or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, how much further can they go? So this should go first. I should have previewed it first.
I mean, I don't know. There's going to be some shanking a chick going on the easy side.
Of course. Oh my God, AJ I am not a fan. Yeah, I think this could be more cathartic, dare I say it, comedic. I want to know what... is it just going to be... They're going to do some tables, and there's going to be a bag of tacks in.
Yeah.
And then at the end, the one that MJF actually goes through and not Briscoe, like one of those the compressed sawdust tables that we all know, we all love, that we all somehow shout for when people are trying to do a match with even more, vile weapons. Stop it. With like tacks glued to the entire surface of a compressed sawdust table.
Maybe. I mean, I think part of the joy...
Like table. Tacks. All right, we've got a table and tacks.
Yeah.
No, you haven't.
Kenny Mega Mousetrap bed of just like, look what's under the ring. Possibly. Yeah. I love the visual of like, when you see tacks or something added to a table, like the stuff going up in the air, the detritus is quite a nice part of the payoff.
I bet they could go in, like, blind someone in the audience.
That's true. I got 3 ideals. Can I tell you my 3 ideals?
Instead of blinding them, just pierce the tongue so they shut up for once.
Pierce the tongue to the front row. Everybody settle down and watch a wrestling. My 3 ideas. Curious to your thoughts on all of them. Number 1. So MJF goes into Tony Khan's office on Wednesday and he's like, I don't want this. But then when he realizes...
Deathmatch douche Mark Briscoe.
When he has to do it...
The quiver in his voice was great.
That like desperate pivot from like, I don't want it, to like, I've got to do it. Well, I'm going to kill him then. Like, I love that, like how he has to switch. So you play with both of those, right? The I don't want it is the man that comes out, the usual MJF robe, takes off to reveal a full protective bodysuit. Like, remember when Ricochet wore the wetsuit type thing? Like an MJF designed legs, boots, that, like dressed like Kane, basically Kane gear, in this idea of like, well, if nothing else, I'm going to protect myself from these tacks. So they might not go through the skin, they're going to go through my gear. So
or just like the D-Lo.
The D-Lo.
So like the back protector.
Yeah, something that's just like, I'm on here, whatever. Da, da, da. Second thing, because he knows he's in this match, to your point about the glued-on tacks, the idea that you do prep weapons and it's not unrealistic. It's not like sometimes, wait a minute, under the ring, there's a kendo stick? It's like, no, he's put things there for the purpose of...
I'm way past caring about that. It's dumb, but it's just...
Yeah. Burberry table. And it's like the one that he set up specifically for...
I still don't like custom-designed tables.
Well...
I'm going to see them. It's just modern wrestling.
How about this for a custom-designed weapon? He goes and he reaches for the Dynamite Diamond ring, and he's glued a thumbtack.
Oh!
And he's like, I like that. That's the version of I'm scared of thumbtacks, MJF, and right then. Well, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to punch him in the face. I'm going to blind him with this.
I'm
with this punch.
Sure. I saw a movie years ago, right? You know when you like, it's just this tiny, like, dot of a memory. So it's one of those where you can't Google. Mm-hmm. It's like a melody of a song.
Oh, they kill me.
They kill you, right? I'm sure there's two, actually. One's relevant to this, or what you've just said. It just popped into my head. A movie, I think it was like a naff 80s action or martial arts movie where there's some guy and some chick in a hot tub, but she doesn't really want to sleep with him. Mm-hmm. She wants to, hurt him or kill him. And she's got like a needle sticking out of her ring.
Ooh. The
one on her finger. Just in case you were confused,
Was it, yeah.
And then kills him in the back of the neck, and you see it go in. If anyone has got a vague recollection but knows what it is, let me know. There's another one, right, where I remember watching this as a kid and laughing because it was a really good, like, cruel bad guy line, right? Where I think they're on a game show or the baddies hijack some kind of TV broadcast, right? And I know you don't like it, and he's in other films as well. You know the guy from the Goonies, the baddie, the tall one? I think he's in a Bond movie as well.
Right. Don't like them either.
I like some of them. Anyway, he's like one of the bad. He's in. Have you seen Showgirls?
Yes.
He's the guy.
Carl McLaughlin and Jesse Spano.
Yeah.
Like notoriously bad, but kind of funny with it.
Yeah. And people think it's more aware of itself than it is.
Yeah, they just made a crap film.
Yeah. The guy who runs the first club that she goes to. He's got a great face.
He's a gross guy.
He's a gross guy. And he's the guy who's like, so she goes, I know, I'm moving on to bigger and better things, whatever. And he kind of, it's weird. It's such a great line to deliver wistfully. So, yeah, the context again is it's Elizabeth Berkley is playing an exotic dancer in front of really pervy men. But she goes on to do legitimate dancing or whatever. And then the owner of the club that she's moving away from, saying their goodbyes, and he wistfully. It's one of the best line deliveries of all time. Just wistfully says, must be weird not having anybody come on you. It's good stuff.
It's good stuff. Like
that.
How's that related?
Because we've gone from your idea for the diamond ring with this thumbtack on it reminded me of a scene from a film that I would like to know what was called, just to satisfy my curiosity.
Okay, right, yeah.
Not that I want to see it again necessarily.
And the come on you guy who was in that film.
No, man, I'm talking here.
I didn't know where this come on you guy came from.
Because I was in the middle of telling you. So it's gone from your pitch.
Yep.
Shut up. Your pitch of MJF having a thumbtack glued to his ring, the one on his finger.
We need to specify that, guys.
Has led to, that reminds me of a film I watched years ago that I've always wondered, where did the scene come from that, you just think about stuff and it pops into your head. On the subject of films that you can't Google because the specifics of the scene that you remember don't yield any results. Here's another one that I want the audience who we've now lost.
I think they're more engaging than ever, actually.
To help me with. So the guy from the Goonies, from Showgirls, with that great villain's face, hijacks a TV broadcast, right? Shoots someone in the dome with a gun, and then the crowd go like, I can't believe I've seen this. And he goes, hey guys, let's not lose our heads.
It's good stuff.
because, like, it's just shot
Yeah.
in that. Mm-hmm. If anyone can tell me what that film is called, I don't even want to watch it. I just want to know the title, right? Anyway, MJF winning for you or Mark Briscoe?
Sorry, Mark Briscoe can have this one. I think MJF comes back as an angry, like...
He's always got that out of the contract.
Yep, like you
need to do something with Briscoe.
Mm-hmm. Like this is his second setback. Right now I need 2 positives.
Yeah. Was that off again?
Partridge.
Yeah. They are going to build to the moment on the tables. Now it's time for tax. Well, bitch, you didn't count on a thumbtack studded table, did you? In the moment MJF finally flies through that thing or gets his big comeuppance, they're going to build to it. He's done it at Revolution 2022. I think this match is going to be incredible. Genuinely do. And I think it's one of those where I don't think this feud has really reached the level of expectations. I think the quality of this match could put it over the edge. I do think Briscoe should win.
Briscoe's family front row, and one of them's holding the new baby, and Max goes over there, he's like, give me that baby. And he takes the baby, but it's just tax.
The women's world title will be also defended on this show in a 4-way match between Toni Storm, champion, defending against Jamie Hayter, who hits hard. It's getting a bit mizzy. That stuff.
I'll just stick my neck out and say I think this Hayter runs crap.
I haven't completed the lineup for the match.
They all know.
Interrupted this time.
They know. Yeah, I'm doing it.
Toni Storm, Jamie Hayter, Chris Statlander, Tekla. The idea is, again, it is critical acclaim doping. There's not one great story here. And this is a habit of AEW post All-In Texas, where it's like, what is the most amount of good bodies we can put in a good match? We've seen it with the All-Star tags for money and all the rest of it. This is a continuation of pretty easy, cheap booking. The match will be good. Of course it will be good. Things could mean more. Rant about Hayter, please. I'm all ears.
I was just going to say, how dare you take a dump on the rich history of 4-ways in the women's division stage? How dare you?
It's telling when they go back to this, isn't it? Yeah. They've made a rod for their own back, their own cack.
They've made a rod for their own cause. Definitely. I think this Hayter run is garbage, and I think it's time to say it's both sides. I think she's been badly booked, and I think injuries are really unfortunate, and I think there was a particularly unfortunate timing one around the Tekla arrival. I don't think Hayter's that either. I don't know if I'm getting to the point where I'm put off by what I feel was an errant aesthetic change, because she's historically changed her look and then goes with that, and that becomes like part of the character. But I don't know if there was such a desire for Hayter to pick up exactly where she left off, because it felt taken from us. At Double or Nothing 2023, we were there, and there's a real heartbreak to Jamie Hayter's absence, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And then she returns.
She was on the cusp of being the person, the Toni Storm.
Yeah, and that's wrestling sometimes, and it can be cruel, but that's, the cream rises to the top and whatnot. Yeah, I think from pretty much the moment she returns, the fault of the booking, to where we are today, the fault of both, it's gone badly wrong, and I just think I think they have kind of cheated this one a little bit to say, well, here, isn't it? So there's the guarantee of the work rate quality.
Just a distracting look, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It's like, well, there's the guarantee of the work rate quality. Well, is it? Because the matches haven't always been there since she's returned. Well, yeah, but she's the big star. Well, is she? Because a lot of this has felt diminished. And we're talking like a year now as well. I'm not like having this reactionary 3 months intake. Yeah. It was last Wembley that she returned. So we're a year plus in. I'm looking, and I feel the same for Chris Statlander, because I think a lot of the Willow Nightingale Death Rider stuff is more fan cast than what we actually see on screen every week. They ask you to basically take one segment from 3 weeks ago and then live with it for ages, and then nothing happens for a bit. Tekla's the one. Tekla's the interesting figure here. Tekla's the one who, if Toni Storm retains,
she wants it.
I want them to spin off like a spiderweb into a singles match between the two. That's what I want Tekla to fall short here for reasons that aren't her fault.
She doesn't take the pin here.
Hayter takes the pin. This is my point. I think it's pretty weak, and I think they've used that, like you said, critical acclaim doping. I think it's like on paper doping. It's like, well, it looks good written down, and in a year's time, you're like, oh, I bet that was good. Or was it? Well, we'll find out, I guess.
Toni Storm being as over as she is, and justifiably so, she just pops people every single goddamn week. She's talking about trimming a bush.
Yep. Which, if you don't understand that, Sid's got you covered on the old Dynamite review.
I'll clarify it in depth and in detail on the Dynamite review. So make sure to listen to that if you've not already. Good on paper. I know what you're doing, Tony. A lot of times, you know that Dexter meme?
Don't know.
So do you know anything about Dexter?
I know the premise, and I know a few of the faces from it, but I never watched it properly.
So there's a character in it. I only watched the first 2 seasons years ago. There's a character in it who's the one person in the police force who's like, you're a serial killer, and you're very good at hiding your activity.
Yeah.
But I'm on you. I just don't have the evidence yet. And it's now become a meme this year of like, if someone does something suspicious, it's like him in the car, staring over the wheel like that.
That's where that's from.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
It's like, I know.
Yeah.
No, I just can't prove it. I feel like that when I'm looking at AEW's booking post All in Texas. Where it's like, I know you want the star ratings. What is this, 2019?
Yeah.
Jesus! There's 5 of them there's 5 fives every week. Jesus! There's 6 of them. There's 6 1/4 of them. There's 7 of them. Jesus! Are you blind?
It's that meme of Meltzer at the top of the tower, like, delivering the stars. And it's standing underneath it.
Jesus!
They're just raining onto him. What's that going on?
This just very much exists to give Tony Storm something to do. Jamie Hayter's still good, guys. She's in a title match, and it's a great title match. And Statlander does have a bit more of substance going on, but I can't invest in it. It's so on-off. And Tekla's earned it. For me, this is the giveaway that if they truly wanted to switch the title onto Tekla,
as a kind of, woof, didn't think...
She is actually as good as she reckons and all the rest. I reckon it'll be a singles match.
Maybe.
Or
Tony Storm doesn't get pinned.
It's one of these matches. You're going to have to subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling podcast on our YouTube because this is going to be a thing. I feel it in my bones. And we like to package some of our bits with a visual component now. So now that we've made the shift over to YouTube. So you're going to have to, if you're listening to this on Spotify, thank you. God. Do it twice. Watch it on YouTube because this is now the genre of match. Okay? Penultimate one. You know what? Your good news, bad news corner.
Every coin's got 2 sides.
I cannot allow myself to get 100% invested in this well-told story and this very cool thing that this crowd is going to go crazy for. And when I see it, hopefully I'll love it. It's Copeland Christian versus FTR. I'm going to allow my esteemed colleague, Dr. Fred of all people, wax lyrical about how much he loved this match and the booking of it and et cetera, because I cannot escape the impression, even if it's 10 matches deep this card, that they're going to go half an hour and they're not going to justify it because it's FTR and they can't help themselves. This match, with how good the story's been, how great FTR are, it's Copeland Christian reunited for the first time in years. They've basically, with compelling television, mind you, which isn't always the case with AEW, have given themselves a tap-in. Soccer tangent. If you don't know much about football or soccer, right, and if you didn't play it much as a kid, there was this thing that you would do, right, where if you were just in on goal and you've left these idiots that you're playing with for dust and you're so clean on an open goal through that they've given up, what you would do is you would dribble all the way to the goal line, stop the football dead on the ground, get down on your hands and knees and do a header from like the goal line on the ground. It's all right, very good, get up. It was like the ultimate, I've just done you there. That is how much of a tap in this match is, and yet I've got a feeling they're going to want to do 35 minutes. It can be done. Obviously, people loved FTR versus Bullet Club. Not me, I found it a little bit overrated and a bit long in the tooth. Revolution 2020 was 30 minutes. It can be done. I just feel like just because you can doesn't mean you should.
I don't think they will.
Okay. I'm going to be a dickhead if they don't here after all that.
Yeah, fair enough.
It is FTR, though.
The
peak misses.
The peak misses, that's true. I've found, as I said on the Dynamite review, this so rewarding. I feel like my investment has been like rewarded at every step of the way here.
It must be good if Cope's involved in something good.
Yeah.
The story and the idea of the match.
It'll be on the podcast feed somewhere. The first week they said FTR and Cope were going to, like, Cope, should we do the trio stuff? I think that was the first point I said. Well, All Out's in Toronto. And we've done it.
Yeah.
We've done it. And, like, Christian Cage seemed too far away from it, and we've done it. And FTR were babyfaces in that moment, and we've done it. Like, every bit of it. And this sort of goes against what I know you specifically like, and I quite like, which is I want Tony Khan to surprise me rather than just deliver what I would hope would happen. Like, I might fantasy book an idea and you want Tony Khan to have an even better one.
Yeah.
This is not that. This is, I fantasy booked a thing and it's played out. What has surprised me is that it's played out as successfully as it has. Like, I was even in favour of the Copeland Christian versus Kip Sabian and Luchasaurus match on account of the fact that you almost want to deliver that first one to kind of get it out of the way, allow for any botches or maybe show the ring rust or whatever. In that case, they invented a new finisher together. That was a pretty cool added ingredient to that because now they've got something in the match that they can use here when it wasn't something you'd ever thought about. You know what? They don't have a tag finisher. They've got a concerto, but they've not got a tag finisher. They do now. No, I've just got such faith in this. The time, if you're going to want to eat it up anywhere, the time is in the Copeland Christian entrances in front of this, like, electric crowd for them. FTR being...
They've got a huge... I'll look it up while you talk, but they've got a decent number for this show as well.
11-ish, I think. 11,000-ish, something like that. It's good. It's going to be a strong house for them. FTR have been doing this... They use the ECW arena as a way to introduce it, but they've been doing this heavy heat, getting to verbals with everybody in the crowd, in the front row, whatever, like letting fans get in their face type of heat. They can do that. Like, before the bell even rings. What I'm saying is the time will be chewed up before the bell rings.
Yeah.
The songs, the whatever, the FTR getting the heat, all that. And then the bell rings, 18 and out. Like, shall we... Here's one for you, Sidge.
I am listening.
What's the key time? I'm saying it's
10,988 as of September 17, which is 2 days ago. I mean, that's decent. That's awesome.
I ain't no bookmaker, and you had a good week at the tables, the proverbial tables, right?
And at the literal one. Good podcasts. Good podcasts.
That's right. Some good podcasts. And yeah, he won big. Beat the house this week, did this man. Check out his, what it was, Gambling Corner or something when we talked about that on one of the podcasts. I will give you a pasty bet.
190 quid I won on a 6-match ACA.
Over under, right? Because this is clearly the root of this. Pasty bet on this going under, per Wikipedia, by Monday, your birthday, 23 minutes.
Over.
I'll say under, pasty bet. Microphone down.
Shit.
Coffee everywhere. Pasty bet.
It's water, and it went nowhere near the electronics.
Yeah, thank God.
Thank God for that. I'm such a gawky asshole.
23 minutes and under, I win the pasty. 23 minutes and 1 second and beyond.
Yep.
The baked goods are yours.
I look forward to a tasty treat. I reckon Edge and Christian win Young Bucks.
Yeah.
If you're going to have them as a team, that's the best use of Cope.
Definitely.
Keep them on running. And have the match against the Young Bucks.
Maybe Cage acknowledging that he was rich was a bit of foreshadowing as well.
Oh, nice. Nice. The last match for me is very much, I know who's going to win. It's going to be very good. I think Kyle Fletcher's been amazing this year. I think I've been higher on Fletcher than anybody else in this room.
You want this match. You've actively campaigned for this match, and they've done it at the wrong time.
They've done it at the wrong time. They've given the TNT title first. I understand it was potentially a stopgap. This was my big pitch for, hang on, Kyle Fletcher is the number one contender in waiting, and then they give him that nothing TNT title, which I said I didn't want them to do. It was going to stigmatize him as someone of like, all right, well, not yet, then I won't invest in him just yet. That's what this title has become. Worthless. Less than worthless. So that's really been my problem with a lot of this, with where they've gone with Fletcher from where he was at Dynasty and Revolution. Like, my God. I don't like that title. I think it should be discontinued. This match will be incredible. This match is going to have such sickening moments of collision, and the angles of the bumps are going to be horrifying. And I think that was true of their already incredible match on Dynamite, by the way, that they had earlier this year, I think it was. It is going to be doubly, triply true, because Hangman Page ain't no dumbass. He is one of the cleverest wrestlers around. He probably, and like Fletcher's no moron either, they'd probably know, this doesn't feel like as big as All in Texas. And it's Fletcher's first pay-per-view main event, if in fact it goes last, which it should.
Yeah.
It's going to be disturbing. Like, it is going to be disturbing. Like, and Hangman Page is a lunatic. Some of the stuff that he does in his big matches is just, it feels senseless in the moment. It's a good job he's as great as he is, because he takes some unbelievable risks. Like, this is going to scare me. And maybe it's going to scare me so much that the sheer extremes that they will go to physically will compensate for what going into the match is going to be a lack of real drama. Hangman Page for you?
It's Hangman Page for me.
It's one of those. You've got,
but I don't say that.
Kyle Fletcher's the best Kane. You've got to have a Kane.
Yeah.
It's so early in the reign.
That's nice. Who's zooming who, CG? Like, what's the deal with...
What's the deal
What's the deal with the deal? So, I think that I love the stipulation. Somebody should have pitched on the podcast, eh? About the TNT title being like even losing the title if the Don Callis family interferes. What is the
Snappy.
Thank you. What is the possibility? Forgot all words there. Forgot every single word.
Yeah.
What if, because Don Callis has thought he was doing right by Kyle Fletcher, they interfere anyway? Because the match has served, and it will do, because the match, Hangman Page is an intelligent wrestler, services to kind of show you that one day there is a babyface world champion megastar in Kyle Fletcher. Not tonight, and maybe he does it as a heel first, but this match will definitely illustrate that at one point. There's going to be a point where the fans are like, oh my God, he's going to do it. And there's that moment in a live crowd where you feel a title change coming, you can't help but cheer, even if it's a bad guy, right? So the match is playing out, and Kyle Fletcher runs him close, and as a result, the narrative is a little bit, not tonight, but even Hangman Page wants him to be the guy one day. So even though he's a baddie who's brain busted him through a table and put his mate in the hospital, Hangman Page is like, all right, one day you can be the guy, just not today. What if Callis runs interference anyway? It doesn't work. And then Fletcher is forced to surrender the belt on, and that becomes this massive point of contention in the Don Callis family. Yeah. And they've solved the problem that you've got, which is that he shouldn't have that title, and they've got it off him without him even having to do a job for it.
Yeah, but Tony Khan thinks everything's great. He doesn't think, oh, it's bad that Kyle Fletcher's got that title. Well, Kyle Fletcher's a great wrestler in the TNT Championship. It's one of the oldest titles here. And so I can't see them. I would like that only if they went, oh, actually, we're going to bin the title outright. It's long since
Okada wins it and they just unify.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Okada wins it, and it feels like, and he can have a double, like, the crush on Mercedes Monet.
Yeah.
They could have another celebration thing, whatever. Maybe. Look, this match will be incredible. I need to get my head out of my ass. It's one of the better backlashes of all time, which is, it's a glorified backlash. Mm-hmm. In that it's one of the better on paper. I know they've done Forbidden Door, but but this is a really great Over the Limit or a really great Judgment Day.
Yeah.
That's where we're at in AEW's annual cycle. Maybe I should just grasp it.
Somebody needs... I love this match conditionally. I think it will be great in the ring.
Everything is on Dynamite already.
That's what I'm saying to these people that just think I only like rubbish. I like good stuff too, but it's all the time.
Yeah.
Right? I'm full up. The Dynamite after this needs the kind of old days of just kind of somebody coming out being like, hey, I'm on Page, F you. And then it's like, oh, that was an interesting week one.
Yeah.
And then by week 12, I'm using an extreme example, you're burning down somebody's house.
Yeah.
It's time for one of those for Hangman Page. And I think that's why Kyle Fletcher...
That's what they're doing with MJF, though.
Yeah. But Kyle Fletcher's sort of been caught in the crossfire of that because he's sort of this opponent when you're kind of in need of someone to be like, F4 off Hangman Page, and this is not really one of those. It got that and September to Remember, but the Browd story is sporting contest. I want your spot, rather than more than, as you pointed out, rather than just put your mate in the hospital, pal. That hasn't really come. Hangman's broadly okay with that. Isn't he?
That would be an emotion.
A little bit. That's the feeling on this, but I'm still high on what they have told.
Yeah,
like the sporting thing, and I want to be you.
Yeah.
And Hangman's like, not yet. I'm still me.
All I'm going to say is, before we sign off, I'd be more excited about this match if I knew I was going to see it at about the 2-hour 20 mark. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us today. Let us know your predictions and sentiment, I guess, around All Out in the comments below, or on X at WhatCultureWWE. Whilst you're there, you can follow Michael Hamflett at
Michael Hamflett.
You can follow me at Sidgwick. When are we releasing this podcast?
We're listening to this podcast today, so you've got all of Friday and Saturday with which to enjoy it before the show itself.
And whilst you're listening to it and you're thinking, bloody hell, I want more of the guys who can't talk, why don't I listen to the WrestlePalooza preview at the same time? Because that is already out, or it will be.
Or it will be as you're watching this.
One of the goddamn two. Thank you very much for Hamflett, to Hamflett, and for Hamflett, really, is a gift, for joining me today. Thank you very much for listening. Subscribe to the podcast for daily wrestling podcasts. Back next week to review this goddamn show, of course. Don't be too long. Please. We will see you soon.